Hello, my loves, and welcome back to BehatiLife YouTube channel. If we are meeting for the first time, welcome. And for those of you that are old friends and family, welcome back. As you guys can tell by the title of today's video, we are going to be diving deep into the energy of the solar eclipse happening in Virgo, September 21st, 2025. Now, there's been a lot of energies that have been popping off and unfolding in the globe all around the world. And I'm going to do my best to channel these messages to keep it focused more on our intimate lives here on the YouTube channel and your personal lives, because I understand that it's tumultuous energy. So we are just going to focus on that today. If you are interested in more of the political climate type of aspects, as well as all the other aspects of our lives, I highly recommend that you check out Behati Love Notes. I talk about those energies more openly there. That being said, let me go ahead and get this deck situated for you guys. You go ahead and get your coffee, your tea, get some water, get cozy, and let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so as you can see, there's already some cards that, well, one card that has jumped out. So I'm going to allow myself to let this card sit here. I also have two oracle decks. Well, one oracle deck and another tarot deck that I'm going to be shuffling and pulling from. The decks that I'm shuffling from can be found in my Amazon storefront. The links for that will be down below. I also have a new setup today because I'm in the final stages of revamping my apothecary slash, oh my gosh, I'm having such a tough time talking today. Office space, something that I've been wanting to do for like 3 years now. I'm not even kidding. This is going to help me get my orders out, be more efficient, organized here in my home environment. All right, let's go ahead and see what's going on here, shall we? We have the Tower card and the Hermit card reversed. Let me see if I can show you that. The Tower card and the Hermit card reversed. I'm not totally surprised to see that for a multitude of reasons. I've been talking very abundantly, generously here on the YouTube channel as much as I can in a way that is comfortable and doesn't shock, public, I guess. But there's just been a lot of changes right now, and that just is going to happen every single generation. There's going to be some major lesson, some major revelation, and we're in the thick of it for this time frame now. Why does this happen? Because humanity needs to evolve. Humanity needs to grow. Humanity needs to kind of shift. In order for that to happen, there has to be challenges. And in order for the challenges to occur, we have to be uncomfortable. There are certain energies that reveal themselves as time goes on. One major energy that's been revealing is authenticity, like truly authentic nature. Does what someone say, how they present themselves, is that truly who they are to their core? And I'm seeing that the first message as we break into this reading for the eclipse with the Hermit card reverse. This card talks about our understanding of ourselves. And if we're willing to kind of peel back the mask, peel back the layers, to do the deep dive, to do the deep research into ourselves or into a certain situation, so that we can reveal its true nature, its true purpose. If you are rejecting this call into your life, this call to life, this call of rebirth, this call of resurrection, this call of your spiritual awakening, this call of your path and your purpose, this call of this answer, this message for your relationships with others, intimately, with yourself, with your health, then there's going to be a consequence. If you face it, there will be a reward. The reward is the time, the option, the empowerment to make a decision that shows you that you are capable of calling the shots within your life to a certain extent. You do not want the universe or your body or circumstances that are going to call the shots for you. You don't want to hand your power over, because you miss an opportunity there to kind of steer the ship where it would be in your best interest. Now, think about this real quick, and I'm just going to allow myself to kind of flow with this reading. And a lot of times it starts off almost fractured, but when I allow myself to channel, it guides me, it allows me to flow to the message that Spirit sees. So for someone here, there could be something. Looking at these cards, there's this message here about not being able to face, not being able to see, not being able to confront something that could be, for lack of a better word, like an inner demon, like something that doesn't sit well with you, something that may have grown unchecked for too long. It could be the words that you speak to yourself. It could be emotions that you don't allow yourself to feel. It could be boundarylessness in relationships. It's one thing. There's this other message here that's coming through. It's one thing to say, I'm going to do this, or I understand this principle, or I understand this, this way of evolving and growing. And it's another thing to apply it to your life. And then after you apply it, do you actually allow yourself to receive it? Feminine energy has been showing up a lot lately. Feminine energy is not just our ability to attract, but what we allow ourselves to feed upon, what we allow ourselves to eat, to consume, to absorb. And for someone here, the message is not resonating. For someone here, the message, there's a blockage, there's a scab, there's a shell, there's an encasing around you that's stopping this from being able to really seep into your soul, into your spirit, because this is new territory for you. At the time of this solar eclipse, Virgo energy is hand-picking what is in your best interest now moving forward. Every single detail, things that you don't even know to look for, things you don't even know to ask for, things that you don't even know exist, every single detail has been scrutinized and divinely perfectly picked in order to maximize your efficiency, your ability, your blessings here on earth. That's the energy that Virgo brings. It's to be of service to mankind, to show up and to deliver generously, because Virgo has the eye, the vision to see what others miss, and to prep and show up and organize and compartmentalize and put things into place, not so that you enjoy the fruit of the labor now, but for the years to come. That's Virgo's energy. It goes so much deeper than cleaning out your room or doing your health, diet and your lifestyle, or a detox, or being a perfectionist, those typical stereotypical characteristics of Virgo traits that everyone kind of defaults to. It goes deeper into discernment and being selective, and then being receptive to what was selected for your life, your path, your plan, for your highest and greatest good, as well as all of humanity, because the opposite of Virgo is Pisces. Pisces connects to the greater collective, the greater good. All of us are factored in. If there's one person, one energy that is sick or twisted or lost, then we all are lost. We need to come together to make this right. And it starts with us committing to becoming the best version of ourselves. What does that look like? That looks like we need to be really careful and cautious, especially at the top of this reading here. We need to be really careful and cautious about what it is that we are allowing ourselves to consume, to internalize, to download. Many people here have replaced their spiritual practice with the news, their spiritual practice and healthy routines and ritual and regimen with things that defile them, energies that are not in alignment with you, to your core or to your highest vibration, but what is a reflection of society right now. And Spirit is asking you to pivot, to pull yourself away and to lock back into your spiritual practice, because we need to focus on cleanliness. We need to cleanse our energy, cleanse our spirit, cleanse our mind of energies, messages, words, information that defiles you, that makes you feel just not whole. Like, it's just not a sense of wholeness here that it is that I'm sensing. And I just want to say real quick that this is not meant to point fingers to antagonize you or be like, you should, I hate that word, you should be doing better. You know that you could be doing better and you choose not to. I'm actually protecting you because I feel a sense that in humanity right now, in society, there's more victims now than there are perpetrators. Even the perpetrators, a lot of these perpetrators, it's because they're victims of something that is being pushed into their minds, this narrative, this concept that doesn't agree with them, but it almost seems like they don't have a choice. They don't have a choice because they've been blinded. They are believing this rhetoric. They're believing this narrative. They swallow it. They consume it, and it becomes a part of them, but it's not them. It's this temporary disconnect. They're getting sucked again in this current that I've been talking about, in these energies, this water, this that we're all swimming in right now. And I hope that you guys are following with me. I've been talking about this forever. It's like you have to be really mindful of how turbulent these waters can get. And a few years ago, I was telling you guys that we were going to be walking into these waters, the energy that we're in right now, and to practice discernment, to practice separation, to make sure that you are focusing and prioritizing your spiritual practices. If not, it's going to be next to impossible to avoid getting sucked into this. This was years ago, and now we're in it. So I don't look at anyone here and be like, how could you? I'm looking at the energy and saying, we saw this coming, and it makes sense that you are caught in this current. It makes sense that the spirit of depression is creeping in. It makes sense that you feel lost. It makes sense that you feel sick. It makes sense that you reverted to these past traits. It makes sense that, again, you know the practices, you know what you should be doing, but it feels impossible to complete. It feels impossible to be consistent. It feels impossible to show up because the current itself is strong. But all you need to do is turn it off, pull back in, and consistently choose to come back to yourself, and consistently choose the voices that bring you back to yourself. Consistently choose the voices that feed you things that spiritually nourish you. Spiritually pour into you, tell you the truth, instead of feeding you candy, sugar-coated words that are making you spiritually, physically, emotionally, and mentally sick. That's the energy of the solar eclipse. I could stop this reading right now. That's the energy of the eclipse. But let's go deeper. Yeah, my loves, we have the Devil card reversed. Now that is literally telling me exactly what it was that I was saying. The word that was coming through is to defile, to make foul something that was pure, something that the universe, the divine, sees is good and a reflection of this high vibration, this high light, but something seems to be amiss. Something seems to have kind of creeped in. Virgo energy is the opportunity to identify, to pick point and say, oh, I found it right here. This little mite that's been laying its little eggs in my heart and making me stop believing myself. I'm going to crush it, or I'm going to pluck it out, and I'm going to replace it with a seed. The spot that the mite bit into is now the open spot for the seed to be planted, and I will plant in this open space a new concept, a new way to speak to myself, a way that I'm going to speak life into myself. I'm going to pray over myself. I'm going to speak good over myself. I'm going to replace the TV, replace social media, replace with something that doesn't reflect what has been sickening me, what has been poisoning me. And it takes discernment. It takes awareness. It takes, the word that Spirit is saying is rationalizing, like stop choosing to cut out rationalizing things and making things acceptable when it's not. Spirit just said the word taboo. There's some things here that are clear, defined line, do not cross. If you cross this line, if you say yes to this person, if you say yes to this job, it's going to cost you too much. It's going to cost you too much. We have gone too far to lose you now. So there's a line here that we do not want you to cross. This is for your betterment. This is for your good. This is for the health of your mind, your soul, your spirit. And when you cut this out. There may be this feeling, this initial bleeding, this initial oozing. You will see the infection. You will feel the infection. It will hurt emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. It will hurt. Why? Because that part of you was sick. And if we let it go, it would have festered. It would have grown. But there's a spiritual surgery. There's a spiritual cutting. There's a spiritual cleansing. And it's going to get pushed up and out. And in that open space where there was once illness, sickness, infection, now you have opportunity and blessing and love and peace and quiet, something that your soul, your spirit, your heart, your mind has been craving and seeking, but looking for in the wrong places. Let's go ahead and flip these cards over even further. Now, flipping these cards over, we have the Four of Wands reverse, the Page of Cups reverse, and the Empress card reverse. This is so telling, my loves, because with the Empress card reverse, the Page of Cups reverse, and the Four of Wands reverse, it's like I'm actually seeing a jar, like a mason jar, a big mason jar, someone putting a lid on it and then screwing the top really tight so that someone can't pour into that jar. I don't know why, but I'm getting the image of pickles, something that is harvested or something that was gifted to you. Now, keep in mind that this is a metaphor that Spirit is giving to me, and I'm known for my metaphors. So it's giving like someone gives you the harvest. Someone is giving you the harvest. It's not so much that you had to work so hard, because for someone here, or for a lot of people here, it's giving reset. Instead of you being expected to have a harvest as we walk into the months of November, September, October, December, you are being given like a lifeline. And with that lifeline, you have to prepare for the months to come. So you're not expected to have it all figured out. You're giving grace in the fact that you needed some time to kind of learn and live through this lesson. Now that you know that, it's time for you to do that research. So I do see this really strong message of, instead of kind of repeating the past mistakes that you've done already, or instead of going into this blind, Hermit card reverse and Tower card, why don't you do a little bit of research into what is going to be needed of you, into what you're going to need, not of you, but from your environment, to help you to achieve whatever it is that Spirit is identifying right now is this is a spot. For someone here, it could be to really prioritize the time that you take to journal, to close out the world, to drink water while you journal. Like there's so many different ways that this energy can come through, but what is it that you need to what do you need to do to complete this task? What do you need to do to be thorough? What do you need to do to make this dream, this concept, more of a reality? Let's identify that. And it's so interesting because Spirit is saying the word pre. So that pre meaning like before something occurs. So instead of just being like, okay, I have this harvest that was given to me from my neighbors. They grew cucumbers. Then we've got okra. Then we've got tomatoes. And in order for me to metaphorically make it through the winter of my life, I'm going to want to pickle these. So I think I heard on Tik Tok that they're using these pickling seasonings, and I'm just going to put it in there, and that's just going to be healthy because it's good for my... No, stop. Pause. Close the lid, quiet everything down, and begin to create a plan. Not what you heard, not what someone said in passing. Did you do the research, or did you just accept something and then you just consumed it and that became your reality? No, invest in yourself and this plan. Really invest in yourself, not something that is trending. Just because it's trending doesn't mean that it's accurate or good for you. It just means that a lot of people are all on board with this, which is a fucking problem when you look at the current climate and the current of today's times. If you see something trending, it's either on the news and it's becoming something that you're now becoming aware of, or it's something that most likely is probably not the best for you. When was the last time you turned off these energies and you turned into nature? Who's telling you to do that? And if they do, it's a small, quiet voice. So with this Four of Wands here reverse, Page of Cups reverse, and the Empress card, I see a hand being put over this mason jar. And again, this is a metaphor, and they're saying before you go pickling, just willy-nilly, on a whim. Do your research and really see what's going to be needed, what's necessary for you to really hit your goal here. Or to do it right, so that it's not going to backfire or be a loss of an investment, a loss of this energy, a loss of this time, when it matters right now. It really does matter. Let me look at these final cards here. Yeah. Interesting. 7 of Wands, 2 of Swords, and the Strength card. So funny. And I know that you guys, if you guys study tarot or know tarot, you look at the Strength card and the first thing that you think, for many of us, is strength doesn't represent applying pressure. Oftentimes it's the ability to kind of, I don't want to say hold yourself back, but to, oh, there's a butterfly. How beautiful. Self-restraint is a sign of showing strength instead of brute force pushing forward. And with the 2 of Swords, 7 of Wands, the Strength card here at the base of this reading, again, this is Spirit saying, listen, wherever you are at right now, whatever current events look like in your life, whatever the climate and the temperature of your life looks like consistently, let's just pause. That's all we need to do, is just take a pause. Let's go into the space where we look at ourselves and really identify ourselves as the way that Spirit sees us, as this gentle lamb. Good intentions, but trying to do the best that you can, but sometimes you just need a little bit of help, support, or time, or, insurance. I don't know why I'm hearing insurance, or assurance. Someone needs to be kind of spoken into a little bit here. I'm also getting this message here about being given grace for not the mistakes of the past, but the way that things are and how you will try. Because Spirit doesn't see it as a mistake. They're rationalizing. I'm getting this really strong feeling here of it makes sense that this is why this person did that. It makes sense that she chose this person. It makes sense that, he did this, in this way. It's not saying it's permissible. Okay, that was great and we loved that for you, or we loved that for others. But it's I understand. And now that we understand, you have a choice, a decision. It's almost giving baptism almost, where you give yourself a fresh start, a rebirth, a resurrection, regeneration. I wouldn't be surprised if there were the Judgment card. Hangman, 3 of Wands. This is the card of looking out onto the horizon, and looking at your potential and looking at what is out there, not from a lens of negativity by any means, but from the lens of truth, which is, there is so much good in this world. Love and life and health and vitality and happiness and joy and peace. And that's what Spirit wants you to focus in on and begin to expect and to pull into your life in the way that Spirit sees for you. Hangman upright. This energy says, if you put down what you expect and how you expect it to look, you will begin to see the greater picture and the plan and how this will all come together. Yeah. Ace of Swords right now, reversed, says, do not lean on your own logic. Do not lean on your own logic and what things look like, what the facts look like, because there's an undercurrent underneath the major current that is truly spiritually supporting us like a grid system. That's what I see it, this big spider web that's kind of supporting all of, energy right now. And what it's giving is humanity, we're all in this together. So I'm wondering if someone here can find peace within themselves through yoga or meditation, or by pulling off. Let's say you're on the road right now, you're driving and you're listening to this message, which so many of you guys actually do say that. You put me in, or you listen to me while you're, leaving work or going to work, and I'm with you on those drives. And I just really am so honored and grateful that we're on this journey, literally and metaphorically together, figuratively together. What if you just pulled off on the side of the road and just took that moment to pray, in a safe place, of course, and you just allowed yourself to connect with Spirit before you go any further on this journey? What if you just pulled off, at the nearby convenience store, and you just bought yourself a bottle of water, the best water that you can find, and you sat in your car, or you sit on your bike, or you sit on your electric scooter, and you say, Spirit, I know that water is nourishing. I know that water can be spoken into. I know that water is magic, and I need new life. I need a fresh start. I need to be nourished. I need creativity. I need to fill in the blank. I need love. I need compassion. I need peace. I need it now. And sit with that. Instead of going about your day in this regular routine, tower card it, pivot, do something different in order to receive something different and start from a spiritual lens. Let me go ahead and shuffle from this tarot deck, just kind of going a little deeper, diving deeper into further messages here. Speaking of diving deeper, Behati Love Notes is there for those of you guys that love the deep dives. I shuffle and pull for them, for the collective there throughout the week. I do have a solar return coming up in just a few days, so I'm going to be taking some time off. I'm going to send out an email today to those. But after that, we're going to resume. And for those of you guys that work your magic, the ritual boxes are fantastic for that. October, I'm creating an invisibility oil. And for those of you guys that are like, Jess, what invisibility? Invisibility doesn't mean that you physically go invisible. It just means that the forces of the earth, good intention, well, bad intention that's disguised as good intention, doesn't find you. And it really is scouting, you know, not to be cryptic or anything like that, but you guys, you don't need me to tell you that. You know that there are people who have malicious intention. The invisibility oil is there to not make you physically invisible, but make it so that you are not a target. And it's a really important oil that people tend to poo-poo just because of the name itself. And they're just like, invisibility isn't real, but it is. Invisibility is very real, especially in the lens of hoodoo. So that oil will be available for those subscribed to Behati Love Notes. Let's go ahead and dive into these cards. Six of Pentacles. Interesting. I love this. First thing I hear with this is lighten your load. Then we have the King of Cups. Yep. Emotional balance, emotional receptivity, emotional power, emotional pureness, emotional stability. And then we have the Hierophant, which has been showing up a lot here. This new normal, this new way of life, it begins with you. So Six of Pentacles is so interesting because I feel like this is you being able to be poured into, for you to receive, for you to give back into the ways that it just feels so reciprocal. Like it feels so reciprocated. It feels so like, this is the way it should have always been. Why couldn't we have done this sooner? Like, that's kind of how this message comes. This is what I see for the future. That's why, like, in the thick of these things and all the craziness that's happening and the extremes of it all, I've been very peaceful. And I know that people are enraged or emotional or triggered, and I understand that greatly. But being someone who saw the turbulence of this current, I got myself out of the water and I sat on the shores. And I intentionally choose to sit on the shore and watch the current instead of be consumed by it and being pulled by it. So I'm not getting emotional reaction, you know, nearly as much, even though it's an emotionally reactive time in history. Why? Because I see the bigger picture. I see it when I pull the charts. I see it when I pull the cards, and I understand the greater picture. I don't get lost in the small details. With that being said, I'm seeing that for you guys where it's like this new normal is stepping forward, where it just feels more, you're not a part of these extremes of things, like extreme highs and extreme lows in your life. It's like this really healthy kind balance that works. Six of Pentacles definitely confirms that. At the end of the day, there is a lot of support that comes from this spiritual team here, and that is important. Now let me just end with the Mushroom Spirit Oracle. What is the overarching message here? And Spirit, thank you so much for allowing me to channel for the collective in the way that you have me doing. You know, I'm always grateful. Yin. Wow. Not even surprised to see that. Yin. All right. Number 10. Oh, look. Opened right up to the page. I'm going to read it to you. The key word here is yin. Tremella is shown to help with the yin aspects of the body. Within the yin and yang concept, yin is the opposite of yang. Yin is fluid, cold, calm, nurturing, descending, whereas yang is fire, fast, ascending, controlling. When one is out of balance, so will the other be, because they need each other for balance. Look at this, Six of Pentacles. That's exactly what I was just talking about. It all aligns. This card is therefore saying it is time to bring more yin into your life. Where are you out of balance? Where has the yang masculine taken control? Where can you take your hands off of the steering wheel and fall into the flow? That is the Hanged Man here. That's been showing up and showing off in this reading. Where can you take your hands off of the steering wheel and fall into flow? Take time to nurture yourself. King of Cups, Elder of Cups here, Ace of Cups, and slow down. That's the Seven of Wands, the Two of Swords, and the Strength card. There are many ways you can bring yin into your life. Drink more water, we said that, and less caffeine. Do yin yoga, slow stretching, or meditation. Eat nourishing, non-spicy foods. Take a bath or walk in the water. Remember we said the water. If left unchecked, yang can take control and then it will exhaust itself. The yin will be exhausted also, leaving your whole body in a deficit. Being the beauty mushroom, Tremella also may be asking you what you are showing to the world. Are you feeling vibrant within yourself, or are you feeling depleted? What do you need to fill your cup and shine from the inside? Only you will know what you need, so it is you who needs to make the changes. Become soft like the jelly looking mushroom. There's beauty and softness, as well as beauty and restoration. And that's exactly what it is that I'm seeing here. What a beautiful message, my loves, truly. Even with the Empress card reversed here, the Page of Cups reversed, and the Four of Wands reversed, it's all about coming into this safe space of beauty and structure and support. Something that I think is overlooked, or if it's not overlooked, it's like neglected. And if it's not neglected, sometimes people feel guilty in today's times. But if one person is able to receive it and to prioritize it, it ends up being like a ripple effect, and it's contagious. And the goal is that all of society, all of mankind can experience this yin aspect and balance in their lives instead of fighting for survival energetically or physically or mentally, spiritually, etc., etc. So I'm setting intention for that. Spirit, thank you so much again for allowing me to channel and connect with collective consciousness. I'm so grateful for this gift that you've given me. I'm speaking a blessing over every single one that is with me today, tuning into these messages, receiving it, being poured into their heart, soul, and their spirit. I call out for the spirit of discernment. I call out for the spirit of nourishment. Any type of energies that feel like depression or anxiety or trepidation or unfulfilledness or purposelessness, or being like life is catastrophizing around them and within them, or being undernourished, undersupported, underloved, remove it. Remove it completely. Allow them to see the solution. Allow them to have the discernment. Allow them to find their way. Allow them to be found by the people who matter, by the energies that matter, that will lift them up and give them peace and make them feel loved and being a part of a whole community. I also thank you so much again for grace and resurrection and restoration, the times that you have given us again and again to start again, to try to pick ourselves up and begin again for the 10th time, 15th time, 100th time. Thank you so much for this life. Thank you so much for this time. Thank you so much for this community. I'm sending you guys all of my love, and I'll see you in the next one.